Welcome to Mysteries, Myths, and Legends. I'm Taylor.
I'm Savannah.
And welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. I feel like I don't have as much to say this week as you do because you went on an adventure, didn't you?
Guys, I went on such a crazy trip, honestly. Yeah, I have a lot to tell you guys. But before we get into that, I have to say a few other things. So first and foremost, please go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. As per usual, had to get that one out there. But second of all, we just wanted to tell you guys that there is now an option, if you love us or love our podcast and love what we do, for you guys to go and support us. So just, the link is below if you feel so obliged to do that. That would be very sweet. Help us do more fun things that we like to do. More content out there for you guys.
You can become a supporter, and I believe it's sort of like a monthly type thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's a monthly
click
subscription.
the link if you're interested.
Yeah, there's like different amounts you can pay each month. And thank you so much to everybody who is already donating. It really means the world, We've done this podcast for so long for free. So I don't know. It's just sweet. It's sweet. People want to pay and support us, doing this. So thank you guys so much. And if you want to donate, the link is below. But moving on to the craziness. So last weekend, I went to Washington, D.C. to see Charlie Puth in concert, which was so fun. Oh my gosh, he puts on such a good show, just first and foremost. Love Charlie. But I had never been to Washington, D.C. before in my life.
See, that's awesome that you got to go.
Yeah. Have you been to Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, I have. I used to live a lot closer because I lived in the Philadelphia area. So we went for Girl Scouts, actually. My Girl Scout troop took us. And it was like the 100-year anniversary of Girl Scouts or something. So there was this big event.
Ooh.
So we were there for that. I didn't really get to see any of the museums and stuff. But
no, okay.
But yeah.
Well, that's fun. That's fun. Yeah, this is my first time going, and I was only there for 24 literal hours, guys. But in those 24 hours, well, maybe 48. I definitely meant 48. But in those 48 hours, we really made the most of it. Obviously we saw Charlie Puth, but we also went to Ford Theater, which I didn't even realize was in Washington, D.C. And that is a theater.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't realize that either
Me
because
neither.
you had told me, and I was just like, wait, I thought that was in Virginia or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Same.
It's in DC.
Same. And it's right in downtown DC. I was just so shook by that. So if you don't know what Ford Theater is, it is actually the theater where Abraham Lincoln was shot right before he was killed. He died by the shot that was fired in the theater. So I literally went and stood where Abraham Lincoln was literally shot. And that was very surreal. That was so totally wild. And so the guy that shot him was named John Wilkes Booth. And he, after he, snuck up behind him, shot him in the head, so Abraham Lincoln and his wife were sitting, in a box, basically, in this theater. The soapbox, private room. Because, obviously, he's Abraham Lincoln. So, after John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln, he actually jumped out of the box and onto the stage to get away. And I had always heard that, in history class, that that's what happened. But y'all, that amount of height, I don't know how he didn't break 10 bones, because that was just crazy to look at. So
the amount of adrenaline, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Definitely, probably. So, yeah, so after Abraham Lincoln was shot, he actually didn't die right away, and they carried his body over to the house across the street, and that is actually where he died. So I also we saw that as well. So that was crazy.
Wow.
That was crazy because I wasn't even
awesome.
expecting to go do that. So
Yeah.
that was a little wild. And I also went and saw, his big statue, as well as the World War II memorial, which was crazy. And I literally stood right where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his I Had a Dream speech. So, I don't know. It was a very impactful, like, historical weekend. And, I also went to the Holocaust Museum, which, oh, my Lord, probably was the most, like, emotional thing I've ever put myself through willingly. And I'm so glad that I, got to experience that because, wow, like, obviously I know the gravity of that situation, but seeing that, like, when you walk through, you, like, walk through as if you are in the concentration camp. So, like, you get, like, a name, you get, like, an age and a whole story of somebody who actually did die in the Holocaust.
Oh my
so, yeah,
gosh.
you kind of, like, take that over and you, like, walk through, like, exactly what happened, like, the timeline. It was really, I don't want to say cool because, like, obviously not cool whatsoever. But it was very,
it can
just
still
fascinating,
Yeah.
and horrible to see, like, all of that stuff. And I learned so many new, way more horrible facts than I ever even knew before. Like, it was just very eye-opening is what I'll say. So, if you guys are near DC, I really recommend to go check all of those things out because that was cool. Very cool.
You're making me want to take a trip to DC now.
Listen, I'll go back because I didn't even get to do, like, we wanted to go to the Smithsonian, but we didn't have time to do all of that. So I'm trying to go back again, honestly.
Yeah, we should go. That would be fun.
We should. We can probably also find something haunted. And while I was there, actually, in the theater that we saw Charlie Puth in, I just Googled because, there was a lot of downtime, like, waiting for him. And I just Googled the theater because I saw it was, like, built in the 1800s. And I said, that's pretty old to be a theater. And I got a little bit of a creepy vibe when I stepped foot in there. And I Googled it, and the theater did have a ghost, actually.
Oh.
And now I forgot his name. I think it was, like, Murphy or something like that. Okay. Murph. But apparently he haunted the balcony, the second floor. So,
I mean, I bet the theater where Lincoln was shot is probably haunted.
Yeah, I just didn't want to think about that. Just in the presence of Abraham Lincoln's ghost being a possibility was just a little bit, my mind was already blown enough that day.
Yeah. I mean, he could have been. I don't know.
Who knows? I surely don't know.
Do you think he would be haunting the house that he died in or his giant statue? He's, like, possessing.
I feel like I wish he was possessing the big statue, but I feel like he'd probably be at, like, either the theater or the house if I had to guess. Probably. But that, I just don't think you guys understand how big that Abraham Lincoln is. That statue. Like, go look at my Instagram, actually. I have a picture standing beside it. Then you can grasp how big it is if you don't know. I was just very shook by the whole thing. Washington, D.C. is so cool. Also, everything there is free. I didn't know that. Like, all those museums, all those things we did, all of that was free. Other than Charlie Puth, obviously. But, like...
That's awesome. I think they're like, they want to spread education, right?
And as they should. So, it's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I had a great time. So, yeah. That concludes my Washington, D.C. trip. At least round one.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't have as an eventful weekend, but,
I had a crazy week. I'm still honestly recovering. I'm so tired.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have much to add to that except that our vlog for Kerner's Folly is out.
Yes. Okay, I watched it and because Savannah edited it this time and it is just so funny. I'm so sorry. I was laughing the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't watched, but I mean, go ahead and watch it and see if we ran into any ghosts.
Yeah.
Like, you never know.
Yeah. You'll have to watch the video to find out. So, that's all we have to say on that. It's on YouTube. And we'll have that link below as well. So, go check it out. But other than that, I don't really have anything else.
Yeah. I mean, we can get into my story here.
Let's do it.
Okay, so this week I want to talk about the Hodag.
The Hodag! Oh my gosh, wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I know. I figured you would be. I'm excited too. So if anybody has, like, been listening to us, you know that we went to the Mothman Festival, I don't even remember, months ago at this point.
It was definitely in September, like the 17th or 18th.
Yeah. But we went there, and go watch that vlog, because in there you can see some of the Hodag stuff that we ran into.
There was like a Hodag store going on.
Yes. So we actually rode the Hodag.
We did ride the Hodag, and also as we approached the Hodag like store that they had set up, they had the Ghostbusters song playing. So it was like, "Who you gonna call? The Hodag." Like, every song was playing. It was like replaced by the Hodag, which was just so funny.
Yeah, it was great. But anyways, so from that experience, Taylor, what do you sort of know about the Hodag?
Listen, I actually don't know anything about the Hodag, but I just do know what he looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I mean...
Which is good. All right. So tell me about him.
Okay, so Wikipedia describes the Hodag as a fearsome critter resembling a large bull-horned carnivore with a row of thick curved spines down its back.
Spooky.
So, there's that. And apparently it is born from the ashes of cremated oxen.
Oh, what? Okay, wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty metal there.
Honestly.
And it is also said to be the incarnation of all of the abuse animals have suffered at the hands of their masters.
Oh my gosh, that's sad.
Yeah, but it's kind of like some animal abuse awareness, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's very true. And we need that.
So the Hodag was discovered in the city of Rhinelander, Wisconsin. And, I really thought it was going to be Kansas, though, because I thought when we were at that festival, the store, like that tent that we ran into, it said that they were in Kansas. So I was just confused.
That's interesting because I remember it being Wisconsin.
Oh, well, maybe I just got it mixed up. I'm just like mixing up states here. Okay, well, it probably was Wisconsin. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes just mix things up in your head.
Honestly, we also saw like hundreds of different vendors that day. So like, who knows?
Okay, well, I'm glad you remembered that. Okay, it's probably in Rhinelander then.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it was on the truck.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's...
Because they also, in case we didn't mention, had a Hodag van. Like, and did. A truck. So, Hodag vehicles, if you will.
So yeah, the Hodag city is Rhinelander, Wisconsin. And the Hodag is also in some like Paul Bunyan stories.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't really think I know much about Paul Bunyan, really. Like, I feel like we might have touched on that a little bit. Yeah. Maybe not.
Honestly. Remember. Yeah. This is episode 89. Like, we're getting up there, guys.
I know. I looked through our episodes and I couldn't find anything. So maybe we just mentioned it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in their stories, he disrupts the work of lumberjacks. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I like that, honestly.
Yeah. So how the Hodag story like sort of began. In 1893, so a long time ago, newspapers reported the discovery of a Hodag in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. The article said that the Hodag had the head of a frog, the face of a giant elephant, thick, short legs, huge claws, the back of a dinosaur, and a long tail with spears at the end. So it's like a scary little thing.
Yeah, it's like a thick, like mutant alligator is almost what it's giving me.
Yeah, I feel like that describes it. So the report that was made, it was made by a well-known Wisconsin land surveyor, and he was also a timber cruiser, and of course he was a prankster.
Oh, okay. This is not a good sign.
I know. His name was Eugene Shepard.
Okay, Eugene.
Yeah. So this man like goes to the newspaper and like reports he saw this thing, and then after that he rounded up a group of people to capture it. So they're like, we're gonna go out here and find it. And apparently the group said that they needed dynamite to kill it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm thinking like maybe they just wanted to blow some stuff up with dynamite. Like, I don't know.
That's pyromaniacs possibly.
Right. Yeah, like him being a prankster, I don't know.
Yeah.
So in 1896, so this is like 3 years later, Shepard, he claimed to have captured a Hodag alive.
Oh, okay.
So, so he said him and some bear wrestlers, and okay, before I go on, like, is that a real occupation?
I honestly hope not.
A bear wrestler?
But at the same time, I'm wondering, like, does that mean they're wrestling bears, or does that mean they're like wrangling bears, and that's just what they called it? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
One of them, but it's like I didn't know that was like
kind of either way.
a thing. Yeah. So anyways, he said, oh yeah, I went out there with some bear wrestlers, and we put chloroform on the end of a pole.
Okay.
Like, I guess on like a napkin on the end of a pole or something, and he put it into a cave that the Hodag was in. So of course the Hodag passed out, and then they went inside and captured it.
Okay, Eugene, I don't believe you at all, because I feel like even on a human, the chloroform needs to be held like directly in through, like, up to your nose and mouth. And I'm not saying I've ever chloroformed somebody, but like that, you said they held it on the end of the stick.
Maybe they got up close. I don't know.
Maybe Eugene. Also, I have a question. Did Eugene name it the Hodag?
Yeah, I think so.
He just okay.
I think he did.
I just remember you said, I found a Hodag. That's what Eugene said. Like,
yeah, I think so. I didn't read the actual report from the newspaper, but all the accounts, like everything said, like he just reported this to the paper.
Interesting. I just wonder.
So I guess
why that name?
I know. Yeah, I should have got more details on that. I don't know. Maybe
they're probably they're not out there if Eugene didn't explain himself.
Yeah, he probably just made it up.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, good question. So he captured it, supposedly.
Okay.
And he actually took it to the fair. So he displayed it at the first Oneida County Fair.
All right.
Yes. So this was the first one that they ever had, and they're like, oh, this is like one of our things that we're advertising, that there's gonna be a Hodag here. And like thousands of people come to see it, and most people, like everybody, believed that it was real. So like, you know, it looked real, and everyone was like, oh my god, there it is. You know?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, as we were sort of thinking from, you know, when I said he was a prankster, he was forced to admit that it was a hoax.
Okay, so what did he have in the fair?
He had not really caught a Hodag. So I think the way that it was described is he had something on display with wires connected to it so he could move it around.
Oh.
So I'm thinking it was more of like a puppet type thing.
It's giving like a robot that he created.
Yeah.
But back in the day. That's interesting. Yeah. See, anytime there's like anything like that at a fair, it's like, oh, come look at this snake woman. Like, I remember one time I paid to go in and see the snake woman, because it's like $1, right? To go see like whatever curiosity it is.
Right.
And it was literally like the shoulders up of a woman, like a real person, like she was talking to me, and then like a completely obviously fake snake stuffed animal body. And I'm like, and no, like you couldn't see like where she was connected, you know, like, or like you couldn't see the magic behind it, but it was so obviously fake. So that's like what the Hodag is giving me right now. Yeah.
But I mean, somehow people believed it because because like a group of scientists from the Smithsonian in DC.
Are you kidding me?
You know, connecting that a little bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so scientists from the Smithsonian in DC, they said, "Oh, we're gonna come down there and inspect your discovery," because they were like, "Oh, it's a
Okay.
new species."
Yeah. Yeah.
But then he's like, "Guys, no, don't come
He
here.
said, please
It's
don't come.
fake. It's
Please
fake."
don't come.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why he's had to say it was fake.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, at least he's not like, he's not trying to fake out actual scientists.
For sure.
He's just like,
For sure.
all right,
He's just having a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. He's being a prankster. So the, as of today, like, probably since back then, and until today, the Hodag is the official symbol of Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
Wow.
It is just like,
I love that.
yeah, it's all over their city. It's just everywhere. Which explains the Hodag store that we saw.
The words were just about to come out of my mouth, because when I say you could see that Hodag tent from miles away,
Yeah.
you could hear it from miles away. Like, these people were they felt so strongly about the Hodag. Like, they loved the Hodag.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, they loved the Hodag more than anybody there loved Mothman. Like, at the Mothman festival.
I know. Yeah, that's true.
Their passion was so real for the Hodag.
So some examples. The mascot of their local high school is the Hodag.
Stop. They're like the West High Hodags. I love that.
Exactly. Yeah. Many businesses around the town have the Hodag name in them, and they have a Hodag country festival each year.
We're going to the Hodag festival next year?
Yeah. Well, it's like a country music festival.
Oh, okay. MVM.
Yeah. I mean, we could still go. I don't know. But
Listen, I'm not really down with the country music like that, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, they also have a main sculpture of the Hodag. Like, it's in front of their Chamber of Commerce.
Wow,
and
that's so funny.
Yeah. I'll post a picture of that one. It was created by Tracy Goberville, local artist there. So shout out.
Shout out Tracy.
Mm-hmm. And they have like different sculptures and things like sort of all over the city, like all over. But that's so just like, I think that might be the most famous one. And there's even like a map on their city website that shows all of the sculptures and things that you can go see. So like you can make your own little tour.
Oh, that is so cute. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, okay, wait, I actually really do want to go.
I know, like low-key, like that would be kind of fun.
That's very fun. Like you have your own scavenger hunt pretty much.
I know, yeah.
That's fun.
And their website had like a lot of information on the Hodag actually. So like their city website.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
So on here is where I learned about the Hodag's only known habitat. Which is the forested area surrounding Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, Wisconsin's like North Woods area. Mm-hmm. And they say on there that visitors have a lot of opportunity to see a Hodag in the wild by going biking, hiking, skiing, outdoor activities.
I'm trying to see a Hodag.
I know. Like, would you go on a hike for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, listen, I don't like hiking, but I'll still go on a hike.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Okay, and then that also leads me to the question, like, what does the Hodag eat?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, is the Hodag good or bad? Because that's what I really need to know.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like... I'll just say what he eats. So a Hodag eats mud turtles and water snakes.
All right, I'm down with that.
Mm-hmm. And on Sundays, they eat oxen and white bulldogs.
Okay, so how does it know what day is Sunday?
They just know. I don't. The day of the Lord.
The day of the Lord. Yes.
Obviously.
That is, I'm a little sad about the dog, but I mean, it's okay, I guess. he could be eating humans, so I guess it could be worse.
Yeah. I don't think they really attack humans unless, like, they're approached
Provoked.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, provoked.
For sure.
Or they also just eat, like, anything. So,
Okay.
there's that too.
Yeah, well.
They're not that picky, but, like, this is what they are known to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they are known to eat the fish right off of fishing lines.
That's funny.
Like, while you're fishing, you, like, reel it in and there's nothing on there because, the Hodag ate it.
Got it. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Which also means that they swim.
That's what I was just going to say. But that's why I was saying, like, it's kind of giving, like, alligator vibes.
Yeah. So they probably do swim a little bit because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also some connections to some popular media.
Ooh.
There is a connection to Harry Potter, the Harry Potter world, because the Hodag is mentioned in the expanded edition of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Is it really? That's so cool. I've actually never seen any of the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Me either.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, like, which is a shame upon myself because I love Harry Potter, but...
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I guess it's in the expanded edition of the book. Yeah, so if you don't know, that's just a book about, like, the magical creatures in the Harry Potter world.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the Hodag is officially in the Harry Potter world.
I love that. I actually think I've heard, like, there's a bunch of different, like, other legends and, like, cryptids that are in that movie because that's kind of what it's about, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Might need to watch it, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I know. I still haven't watched all of the Harry Potter movies. So.
Get out of here, Savannah. Literally get out of here.
I know. I want to. I mean, it's honestly still the good, like, this season for it. So I think I might watch one
Listen,
soon.
it's always the season for Harry Potter. It's
But
literally
like fall
always
and
on.
winter. That's true.
No, yeah, definitely like winter cozy vibes is like Harry Potter.
Yeah. Okay, so I have one last thing to tell you. And you're gonna like this. The Hodag was in Scooby-Doo.
I already knew. I knew you were gonna tell me that. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Which one was
of course, I had to mention Scooby-Doo.
Always.
The Hodag was in an episode in 2012, actually, called The Hodag of Horror.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember that one.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm watching after this.
Yeah, exactly. Have you watched, like, all of the episodes?
Definitely not. I mean, okay. So this is like hard because there's like a million different Scooby-Doos.
That's true. Yeah.
I have watched definitely all of the original ones and all of the like original movies. And then obviously like the real life version, like movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then
those are the best.
And of course. And then like 2 other cartoon ones I've seen. But like definitely not all of them. So I definitely have not seen the Hodag one.
Yeah.
But I will be watching that.
Yeah, you gotta look it up. Should I spoil it for you?
Yeah, you should.
Okay, so I only have like a little bit of it. Apparently the Hodag appears as a jewel thief. Ooh. And he robs people of Crystal Cove. So.
I love that. I really like I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's the Hodag. I love the legend of the Hodag, but I don't know if I would be able to find him out in the woods because I don't know if he's fully real, but you know, we do love him.
Yes, I too do not believe that he's real, which is sad because, you know, it takes a lot for me to not believe in a legend because I really will believe anything. But in this instance, I do not think the Hodag is real. And you know what? Because it was on Scooby-Doo, I believe it even further because monsters aren't real in Scooby-Doo. It's always a human behind it.
Yeah.
And in this scenario, I think it's Eugene.
Yeah.
Eugene. No, but honestly, shout out Eugene because we love the Hodag, even if he isn't real.
He really like stirred it up. Like he stirred up all the drama to get researchers from the Smithsonian to want to come out.
Like that's so serious.
They're like, we're going to see this.
He was like, please no, I cannot get caught.
Exactly.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Well, I guess moving on I love the Hodag, and then my story is just so. Oh, it's dark this week, guys. It's real dark.
Oh no.
Writing this. I mean, at this point, when this releases, it's going to be so far in the future. But like when I wrote this, it's Halloween vibes. So I was looking for like a spooky ooky one, and I found one. But
okay,
it's just.
Well, I think they balance each other out then. Because mine's
they do.
Definitely not spooky.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you don't want that vibe, maybe stop now.
Maybe stop now. Also, I mean, it's also not like spooky. It's just more.
Yeah.
Let's just get into it, I guess.
Yeah.
There's
keep
really
listening.
There's really no way to describe this one. So, I have for you the legend of Charlie No Face.
Oh, I think I've heard of that before, but I don't really know anything about it.
I had heard about it, but then when I was researching it, I was like, actually, I have no idea what this is about. So,
okay.
The name sounded familiar to me, at least.
Yeah.
But, so, okay, setting the scene, we are in western Pennsylvania, specifically Beaver County. Do you know where that is? Pennsylvanian?
No, because I don't know western Pennsylvania. I'm from eastern.
Yeah, well.
Pennsylvania's big, okay.
I guess. So is North Carolina.
Yeah, but see, it's different. Like, North Carolina, I feel like a lot of people here travel throughout the state.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're in the Philadelphia area, you don't do that.
You're right. Honestly, Philadelphia in and of itself should be its own, state.
Yeah, you stay there or you go to, New Jersey or Delaware.
True.
But I've never really, I don't think I've ever really been to, western Pennsylvania.
That's crazy. Have you been to Pittsburgh? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You've never been to Pittsburgh?
Nope.
What? Even I've been to Pittsburgh.
I think. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think the farthest I've been, I've been to Harrisburg, which is the capital.
Mm-hmm.
But nope.
Well, that's crazy. Well, I think most of the story happens in and around Pittsburgh. I'm pretty sure. So.
Okay.
Guess you wouldn't know what that is, but.
Nope.
So okay, I'm just gonna kind of jump into the story because, as I said, it's unlike any other story I've ever told on here. So that's exciting. So, there was once a boy named Raymond Robinson, okay? And so he was only 8 years old when he was injured by an electrical line. Severely, severely bad. So he was actually trying to climb the pole to reach a bird's nest on the Morado Bridge, okay? And he wanted to save the bird's nest because it looked like it was going to fall, I guess. And so he was like, let me just climb it and get it down. And so this Morado Bridge actually carried a trolley, and it had electrical lines of both 1,200 and 22,000 volts because of the trolley and all the electrical lines. I guess it's a really big bridge. So there was a lot of voltage going on. Okay. And Raymond, as an 8-year-old, he wasn't thinking about that. He was just like, let me save the birds. And what's actually even more crazy is that the same electrical lines were responsible for the death of a young boy just a year before Raymond's incident. Okay. So they should have been done something about that issue. If somebody already died, doing some stuff. No,
definitely.
So, fast forward a year from that incident, Raymond is climbing it to try to save the birds, and he got to the top, but then he fell into the power lines, severely, severely electrocuting himself. But he survived.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So he did survive, and he defied all of the doctors' expectations. They fully did not expect him to live. Basically, we're you should be dead right now. But somehow he didn't. But he was left severely, severely disfigured. He lost both of his eyes, his nose, his right arm, kind of burns all over his body. And his face, because he didn't have any features, it kind of was he didn't really have a face, kind of just skin. And I'm trying to be as respectful as possible because this is obviously a real person. And so the story is not going to get better from here, just so you know.
That's crazy. I didn't realize that this was going to be about a real person.
Me neither. Me neither. When I started the research, I didn't either. So, yeah. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. let's see here. Okay, so obviously he was in the hospital for like a super, super long time trying to recover from this. And eventually he was let out. And he like went back because he was only 8 years old when this happened. So he went back and lived with his family again. But anytime he would go out in public, he would kind of cause a panic because of the way that he looked. And people were like extremely scared, which is just so sad because he was just trying to save the birds. And now he's completely like kind of outcasted from society. Because, like, nobody wants to look at him.
Yeah, that's actually so sad. What year did you say this was?
Let me see. You know what? It appears that I did not even write the year down. So,
okay.
I don't know. But definitely in the 1900s sometime. Like, not that long ago. So, yeah.
So, like, the 20s or 30s or something? Or, like, more like the 80s? Like,
I'm thinking in the middle of those.
It's like 50s.
Like maybe like in between the 30s and the 50s, yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I mean, I feel like then people were more judgmental, like to be freaking out about something like that.
No, 100%. Actually, and I can see. It was okay, he was born in, let me do the math. 1. He's born in 1911. So this is about 1920 when his incident happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have I don't know. My idea of that time period is like people are like way more harsh on other people. And like today, I mean, people today are definitely still judgmental about that kind of stuff, but they wouldn't act as if they're scared, you know?
Definitely.
Like
definitely.
You wouldn't show
like,
that.
You would definitely still get stares, like if this was the case today, but like nobody would be outwardly mean or like try to be like, get out of here, like you disgusting person. Like,
right. Like you might get a few like, oh, I feel bad for this person.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
Like you're not gonna, yeah. Like there was way less of that back then, I feel like.
Definitely. And so, you know, that's, it's just his life already starts out on a rough start. So, let's see here. So we're going to fast forward in his life a little bit. Basically, as he grew up, you know, whatever, he found that kind of the only way that he was able to go outside without getting like ridiculed was if he would go outside at night. So like nobody would see him. So he started taking these nightly walks along a quiet stretch of road on the state route 351. And so he would use a walking stick. And so that's like the only time he would be able to like leave his house was at night to just have a little walk. Because because if not, he would get ridiculed and be like told to go home. Which is just
so awful. For what? Like, he didn't do anything.
Right. Just literally because they're like, we just don't want to look at you. Like, okay, look the other direction. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's so crazy. So, as he's on these little walks, you know, every night, you know, locals regularly pass him and they watch him walk. So, like, it became a well-known thing that he would do his little walk. And usually he would avoid talking to his neighbors and stuff, kind of keep to himself. But on occasion, he was known to like have a little short conversation or a beer and a cigarette with his neighbors. So, you know, especially later in life, he at least did have some acquaintances, like maybe not best friends, but you know, he wasn't 100% totally alone all the time. At least.
Good.
I guess
that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And also like kind of taking it back a little bit. To like right after the incident, you know, his family, they didn't like kick him out or anything, but they also were rude to him. They refused to eat with him because they didn't want to look at him, which I'm like, are you kidding me? Yes, his family. So he would go eat in his room by himself. But actually he said that, you know, he didn't really have a problem with that because he was a huge baseball fan. And so when he would go to his room to eat, he would like get to listen to the baseball game on his radio. Which I know.
That's still so sad.
It's so heartbreaking. It is so heartbreaking. This whole story. I know.
That just really ingrains the fact that, like, it's just a different... I don't know. People are different nowadays. Because
Definitely.
I don't know. I guess there still are people that would do that today, though.
There are definitely people, but I feel like the majority of people would never. They would never do this.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah,
At least
especially
people with
since
a heart.
this is your son, and
Right.
this happened to him as a child. Like,
Yeah, and it was a complete and utter accident. Like he could have died, and you're gonna treat him like this? This
yeah,
miracle, this literal walking miracle. Like
yeah.
it's just really awful. Um, let's see. Okay, so wait. Okay. Now I found my spot. So he also learned how to read Braille, and he would also make wallets and doormats out of old tires, which is like kind of how he made his money. Which I'm like, how did you even do that? First of all, he's also blind, because he lost his eyes. So like, I'm just like, wow, in awe of this man, truly. But once he got old enough, his parents did get him an apartment, so he could, kind of start to live on his own. And so that's actually when the walking began, like when he was around 18. So.
Oh my God, he's blind and disfigured, and his parents are like, here's your apartment, go out there.
They say here. Yeah, literally.
Just by yourself.
It's just, it's not cool at all. So then eventually, his walks go on for a while. People start realizing like that's him, and it's like becoming a thing. Like, oh, Charlie, or not Charlie. Also, I have to say, the legend of Charlie No Face, his name is Raymond. He went by Ray. There's no even reason behind the name of it being Charlie No Face, other than I guess it just sounded better than Raymond. I suppose.
Was that just a nickname people would use for people?
Yeah, I guess. Had to be. Like, because there literally nobody had an explanation. They're like, I don't know. It's just what they called him. I'm like, you couldn't have even called him by his name. Like, you're going to do all of this and still call him by the wrong name. Like, that's so sad. So anyway, on his little nightly walks, eventually people would be driving by and they would scream at him, make fun of him, throw stuff at him. But nothing actually ever stopped him from walking. He always wanted to take his nightly walk. He was even hit by cars driving on multiple occasions as well.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I don't know if they like purposefully hit him or if it was just an accident because it was dark outside. But yeah, he got hit multiple times. But obviously he was okay and continued walking. So eventually he did stop his walks during the last few years of his life, and he retired to the Beaver County Geriatric Center, where he died in 1985, and he was 74 when he died. Just kind of like old age. And okay, so now that I told you the true life story of Raymond Robinson, now I'm going to get into some of the legends surrounding him. So he became this local myth in the Pittsburgh area. Huge. Like, everybody knew about him. And he is known as the Green Man because it is rumored that his skin turned green when he was electrocuted by the electrical line.
Oh my gosh. No, it didn't.
Yeah. Did it? I don't know. And people say like this Green Man legend was one that literally everybody would tell around a campfire, and parents would tell their kids to like scare them into like being outside in late night. Like, they're gonna be like, oh, the Green Man's gonna come get you. The Green Man be walking around out there. Oh, also what I did not mention is not only was the man like bullied and sometimes hit by the cars, but also sometimes when he would walk when he was alive, he would get jumped by really mean people and beat up for no reason.
See, that's just, this man
Yeah.
is not having a good time. He got bullied in life and in death.
Literally.
Too.
Still to this day getting bullied. Literally. But because he was getting jumped, he then started like kind of having PTSD. Like, if he heard something, like, he would have a panic attack, or like if a car was pulling up beside him, it would make him like extremely skittish. I mean, like, obviously it would make me too. It would make me skittish even without me being jumped if I was blind in the dark or walking outside,
Yeah. Me too.
So, yeah, legend has it that after one really bad fight, the worst fight of all that he had ever been in, Ray started carrying a pistol in his belt. So that kind of plays into the legend where parents are like, well, the man in the Green Man has a pistol, so you better not leave the house, or you better be in before midnight, or because that's when the Green Man with the pistol comes out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just using it as a scare tactic, as if this man's life like means nothing. Truly. Yeah. So, legend also says that, let's see here, the Green Man roams this very particular strip of road late at night and will chase away anybody like, it says the parkers and the loafers, which basically means just like people who are like loitering around, like sitting in their cars or whatever.
Right.
Which, I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. Like, get out of here. He's like, get off my property.
Okay.
Yeah. So some people have reported seeing sightings of Ray's ghost along Route 351. And so, like, and people who have reported his ghost, some of them say, like, they see, like, a glowing green man walking. But others say it actually just looked like it was Raymond himself walking. Like, not glowing, like, just like as if it was. Which I do not believe any of the green stuff. That, I think, is all just legend.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. Because, like, why would that make you turn green?
I think it's kind of the Hulk. I feel like that the Hulk is kind of like when this was, like, popping, the Hulk came out. So, and like, they're just like, oh, he's like radiation and shock and whatever. He's green.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's a good theory.
Yeah, a theory. But actually, some people have a conspiracy theory. Okay. And the theory is that Ray did not actually die in the 1980s, and that somehow he's still alive today and living in an old abandoned house in the woods, preying off the people who are on the road late at night. Like, taking him to his, like, a little abandoned cabin and killing him and eating him and doing God knows what else to him. And I'm like, girl, where is this coming from?
Also, how is he still alive? He's just a person.
Right.
He'd be so old.
I mean, yeah, at this point, he would be old. But he died in, like, 1987 or something at 74. So he could have lived a little longer, I guess. But,
yeah.
Guys, he's not in the middle of the woods. Like, I am the biggest conspiracy theorist, but he is not in the middle of the woods alive. I can almost promise you.
And even if he was, like, he would not. I don't think he would do this.
No, me either.
Like, the way you described him, he seems like just like a nice guy.
Exactly. And we'll get more into who he was as a person here in a minute. But before that, other people say that his ghost is there haunting that road to get vengeance on the town that turned their back on him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so some people claim to be driving down that specific stretch of road at night, and then they'll see a glowing green man with a walking stick. And then all of a sudden, they will see a flying hatchet flying at them. But right as it is like about to hit them in the head, it disappears. And I'm like,
okay, that's kind of scary.
That's horrifying if that's true, right? And people also say, like, right before, like, seeing a flying hatchet, like, flying towards them, they'll hear strange, like, really weird kind of guttural crying sounds right before the hatchet. So, if you're in this area and that happens to you, like, I don't really know what's going on, but, like, you might want to get out of there. Like, I don't know.
That might be something else.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that kind of sounds like that. Yeah, that's not. No. That sounds like a completely different situation going on. So, yeah, I didn't even.
Where does the
hatchet
hatchet come from?
Exactly. Nowhere. Unless people are just trying to make the story scarier. I don't know.
Probably.
Okay, so this next part that I'm going to tell you is actually a personal encounter story. So it's written from this guy's perspective. Like, this guy wrote it, but it's actually his dad's story. Okay? So, just one person off. But that's fine. So this guy says that his dad and a few of his friends were driving down Wallace Run Road, and they had on them what they called green man bait, which they made themselves. So to them, green man bait was a case of beer, a straw, and some cigarettes, because apparently those are his three favorite things.
That sounds like just man bait.
Right, man bait. Literally. That's so funny. So literally, it's just this group of boys driving down this road, like, in hopes of seeing this poor man going on his nightly walk. And eventually, they found him, pulled up right beside him. And the driver of the car claimed that he had met Ray before, like, just driving by the road. So the driver of the car gets out first, and the rest of the boys stayed in the car, because low-key, they were scared. They grew up with this legend their whole life. Like, they have no idea, like, how this man, and this was when Ray was alive. So this is like real. So yeah, they were like a little bit horrified. And so the next thing the boys knew, like that are sitting in the car, the driver gets back in the car and Ray gets in the back seat right with him. And the second that he climbs into the car, all the boys like scream to the top of their like lungs, which is so messed up because they're screaming at like how he looks, and he cannot help that.
Right.
So,
like, you're the ones who wanted to see.
exactly. Like, you knew what you were signing up for. Like, I don't know what you mean. But apparently this guy's dad was like, truly, we weren't trying to be mean. Like, when we screamed, we had just all like grown up hearing about him and finally seeing him and like knowing that he's real was like crazy. And, it just spooked us, which I mean, I understand, but also like control yourself a little. You know what I'm saying? Like, crazy.
Exactly.
But then, so this group of guys and Ray all went and parked in like this empty parking lot, and they just hung out with Ray for like hours and drank beer and talked about the Pirates, apparently, because Ray was like a Pirates fan, which is funny. And so,
well, that's cool.
Yeah, so this guy's dad is just like, literally all the legends are a lie. Like, Ray is just like a chill dude trying to live his best life. Like, and he said that he's a kind soul with an unfortunate life. Which is so sad.
Exactly. That's the exact thing that I get from him.
Like, I feel so bad for him. So, yeah, as I said, people to this day still talk about, oh, you're going to see Charlie No Face out there. Like, first of all, his name's Ray. So can we at least say Ray No Face? Like, come on. Also, Let's not say that at all, because that's really messed up, because he does have a face. Okay? It's just disfigured. Like, ugh. Gosh, yeah. I'm so sad for him. So what's crazy is that both of our stories this week are like, we all know that I will believe any legend, but for once, I don't believe either legend that we told today. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Yeah.
On the podcast, yeah,
that's
truly, or at least thought it could possibly happen,
I know.
Yeah, but I think this man just very much so had a reputation around town, and they took it and ran and just created this huge story, which obviously worked for them because everybody knows this story, apparently. Anybody, like, around the area, everybody knows it. But also, there is apparently a movie that is supposed to be coming out soon that's based on this story. So we're going to need to be on the lookout for that, because I need to stand up for my boy Ray. It better not be hurtful to him, because he's already been through enough. Yeah,
that kind of like makes me worried a little bit that it's going to be like a scary like a horror movie or something.
Me too. But, like, and I think that it is supposed to be.
Oh no.
So, and I mean, hopefully it'll just be like loosely based on it. Maybe it won't be like fully based on it, but I guess we'll see.
I don't know. And I hate that like he was still alive while people were making these like legends about him.
I know,
because he probably heard about them, and he's like,
I mean, he definitely heard about them. Yeah, like, oh, it's just really heartbreaking. But yeah, that is the legend of Charlie No Face. And like, when I went into that, I just had no idea that I was going to be telling this really sad story, but I'm glad I could, like, so we can actually know, like, if you're listening out there, like, Charlie No Face, guys, he's not real. Yeah. He was a real person, but like, the legend is not real, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that is all I have for that story.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking.
It was really sad. It was so sad. I'm so sorry to bring down the mood, everybody.
That's okay.
But yeah, we'll definitely have pictures. I'm going to post a picture of Raymond, okay? So we don't want any hate for Raymond, okay? He's a beautiful soul on there. But just so you can see what he looks like, I feel like it's fair. So definitely look for that. And you got to see what the Hodag looks like, because we love the Hodag. Honestly,
oh, definitely.
We'll have to post the pictures of us riding the Hodag as well. I know we've posted them before, but we kind of got to repost them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll look through and see if I can find a different one to post.
I know. We took a lot now. I do remember.
We did.
We took so many.
We did.
That's so funny. But yeah, definitely go check out our Instagram. See pictures all the time. And definitely go watch our vlog on YouTube for Kerner's Folly. And just all of our vlogs. They're very fun. But
yeah, we have a few now.
But yeah, we do. Shout out. But honestly, I think my favorite one so far is Kerner's Folly. Like, it's really funny. One. Really, we're funny, man. I was cracking up the whole video, the whole time. But other than that, go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But I don't really have anything else for you guys this week. What about you, Savannah?
Nope. Not.
All right. Well, I guess we will see you guys next week.
All right. Cue the music.